How is a bastard, orphan, son of a whore, and a Scotsman, dropped in the middle of a forgotten spot in the Caribbean, impoverished in squalor, grow up to be a hero and a scholar? Well, Hamilton the musical about the $10 founding father will tell you all about that question I just asked. Alright, so today I'm going to tell you about a musical that I've been obsessed with for about almost 2 years now since it came out on iTunes. I'll tell you the history of the musical, about the writer and star Lin-Manuel Miranda, and how it took Broadway by storm. Alright, so to start off with the history of Hamilton the musical, it started off with Lin-Manuel Miranda going on vacation in Mexico with his fiancée, who would soon be his wife. He sat down at his bed when he got into the hotel, and on the bedside table was a book, and it was called Alexander Hamilton, and it was by Ron Chernow. He read the book, and for some reason in his crazy mind, he thinks that it would be a great musical. I don't know why. In the 2016 PBS documentary, Hamilton's America, Lin-Manuel Miranda claims that the story of Hamilton was like Tupac. It was a hip-hop story. I'll explain that later. But so he texts his best friend / writing partner, and they get this thing going. It took 1 whole year for them to write the first song, and then he was invited to the White House to perform for President Obama at a poetry slam, and he performed the first song from Hamilton the musical. In the book Hamilton the Revolution, written by Lin-Manuel Miranda and Jeremy McCarter, and published in 2016 by the Grand Central Publishing Center, President Obama was the first to stand and cheer after Miranda previewed his draft of his opening number of the potential musical in 2008. He was then enraptured by the whole concept and later took his entire family to the show when it opened on Broadway in 2015. Alright, so the history of how a musical gets started, it has to go through a workshop process, which means it'll start with several actors chosen by the writer, and he will choose a director, and they will go and they will try to figure out the kinks of the musical and figure out how to work it. So then, after it workshopped, it went to the Public Theater, which is an off-Broadway theater in New York City. It ran there for a few months, and on opening night, it was completely sold out, and there were people lined up to the door. Something that's really revolutionary about Hamilton the musical is it is a hip-hop musical, in that it's all done in rap and hip-hop style. It was nominated for 16 Tonys after it went to Broadway, and it broke the record of Tony nominations, and it won 11 of those Tonys, which is kind of weird because it was actually nominated for, it had several actors nominated in each category, so even though they won 11, they only lost 1 total. Okay, so now that I've told you a little about the history of the musical, we'll move on to the writer and star of the show, Lin-Manuel Miranda. Lin-Manuel Miranda grew up in New York City, but his parents are from Puerto Rico, and they moved to the States just before he was born. He grew up listening to Broadway cast recordings, and according to the PBS documentary about the musical Hamilton the Revolution, aired in 2016, Miranda claims that there were always records of cast recordings laying around, and he was really into Bye Bye Birdie. He then went to high school for musical prodigies, and then went to college from there and started working on his first musical, which was In the Heights. In the Heights was on Broadway in 2008, and it got 5 Tonys, and it was nominated for 8. It is a revolutionary musical, again, in the fact that it's about Latinas in New York City and in urban areas, and it's kind of mimicking West Side Story in that, but it also it has a different sort of Latin music feel in the whole thing. Then he went on to write Bring It On the musical, and it was on in 2013, and it won, and it was nominated for 3 Tonys. He then wrote Hamilton, and it was on Broadway in 2015. Some things that you might know about him. He's teamed up with Disney, and he actually wrote the score for the Star Wars movie, and he's continued to write all the scores for these Star Wars movies. And then, and it's going to premiere in a couple weeks. He wrote the music for Moana, which is the new Disney princess movie. And he's won a Pulitzer Prize, 2 Grammys. He personally has won 3 Tonys, and then Ollie Hamilton has won 11 Tonys. He's won an Emmy for his rap album, Hamilton, and he's also won a MacArthur Genius Award. Okay, so now that I've told you about Lin-Manuel Miranda, I'm going to tell you how he took Broadway by storm. So Hamilton took on the Richard Rogers Theater in New York City, which is one of the biggest theaters on Broadway. It seats almost 2,000 people. The thing that is revolutionary about this musical is it's a non-traditional cast. It's about the American Revolution, but it's played by actors who are not white. And so they claim, Lin-Manuel Miranda claims, that it's the story of America told by the American now. According to the article Why Hamilton is Making History on TheGuardian.com, written by Sarah Churchwell, a well-known fanatic of Hamilton, and published in 2016, Hamilton fuses American history with current politics, using a soundtrack of American popular music and one of the most innovative librettos ever written. Like I said, it's a hip-hop musical, so everything is rapped. There are no lines. It's all said in verse. It's all said in a song. Another revolutionary thing about this musical, it's done with 3 turntables, as you can see here. So it makes it really cool when, if you guys remember from history class, Aaron Burr shoots Hamilton, and that's how Hamilton dies. So Aaron Burr stands here, while Hamilton stands here, and it turns and turns while the song is going on. And so at the end, the turning stops, and he shoots Hamilton. In the magazine The Rolling Stone, the article on Hamilton's creator by Mark Benelli, published in 2016, it was made known that Miranda was granted a $625,000 MacArthur Genius Grant, and this opened many options for the production of the musical. If you see here, a lot of people have seen Hamilton so far. It's actually just opened in Chicago, and another one will open in San Francisco, and then a national tour will play. Off-Broadway, in just about 104 days, 35,000 people saw it, but then when it went on Broadway for only 232 days, that many people saw it. You can see it's a lot of people. Tickets actually are going for over $400 right now. People are paying a lot of money to see this musical. Like I said, it's revolutionary in the thought that it's done by America now. So it's done by people from all races, from all religions, from all backgrounds. George Washington is even played by a half-black male named Christopher Jackson. Okay, so now that I've told you about the history of Hamilton the musical, about its writer and star, Lin-Manuel Miranda, and how it took Broadway by storm. So at the beginning of this speech, I started you with the first line of the show, so I'll leave you with the last. History has its eyes on you. Hamilton is so revolutionary in the fact that it's changing not only the musical style of Broadway, but it's a show about America then, told by America now. Things are changing, and it really should no longer be about race and about religion, but what you accomplish. So remember, history has its eyes on you.